Weights and Downer. You or someone you know has lost the ability to earn a living because someone put the company interests before their well-being. In times like these, there's one firm who has handled hundreds of catastrophic and lost earning cases. Before you settle fast with a company's attorney, give Weights and Downer a call. 985-876-0870. Weights and Downer. Let us fight for your rights.
And welcome back, everybody. I'm Martin False. Welcome to Bayou Time on a story we brought you a couple of weeks ago, but it has grown. And joining us is First Lieutenant Blake Tabor of the Terrebonne Parish Sheriff's Department, and he's going to bring us up to date. I thought it was bad enough when we had it the first time, but since y'all have added to this.
Absolutely. It just keeps compounding. We originally spoke about a suspect who was arrested for a multitude of sexual abuse charges related to some juveniles. And of course, Billy Ray McLin was the perpetrator, 54 years of age. You see him photographed here. Since that initial release of the information, I'm sad to report that a fourth victim has come forward. During the course of that investigation, Mr. McLin was arrested again for some additional charges of molestation of a juvenile under the age of 13, sexual battery, and indecent behavior with a juvenile related to a fourth victim. Now, again, it's important to reiterate that this fourth victim is a complete and separate investigation, though this culminated from the onset of the first investigation. In addition to Billy Ray McLin being arrested, his wife was also arrested. She has been identified as a Tiffany Marie McLin. She's a 31-year-old female from Chauvin. You see her photographed here. She was ultimately arrested for charges of failure to report certain felonies. And again, how that came to be was during the course of that investigation by the Special Victims Unit, they were able to uncover some information that Miss McLin had knowledge or had been told about the initial victims and what had happened. And she chose not to believe the victims, and she chose to not report that to law enforcement. So again, some people would say, well, it's hard to report everything you hear. How do you know if it's true? Mm-hmm. The reality is, in cases such as these, and we understand the dynamic when it comes to sexual abuse of children, it's always better to err on the side of caution by reporting that to law enforcement and allowing us to do our job and do the proper investigation to determine if that's true or not true. So, it certainly appears initially that she sort of took that into her own hands and developed her own opinion, which ultimately led to her charges. Now, Ms. McLin is currently jailed at our Terrebonne Parish Criminal Justice Complex on a $500,000 bond. And of course, the additional charges for Billy Ray have only added to his very pricey bond that he had of over $3 million.
$3 million. My God. Yeah. I thought that first one was steep, but it needed to be, so I'm glad the judges are doing that. But you bring up a great point, and maybe we use this as a teaching lesson for those out in the audience. Even though she's the wife, and even though we don't know, and this is alleged, I'm just hypothetical, let's call it. He could have been threatening her life if she comes forward. He could have been doing a lot of things. But it still doesn't take her out of the know that some young juvenile women, their lives are being destroyed.
Absolutely.
By these alleged crimes. So I get it. There's a gray area there, but you gave some great advice. The best advice is just come forward. Y'all going to protect witnesses and all. You got him on a $3 million bond. I'm sure he's incarcerated, but the best thing to do, always come forward.
Absolutely. And look, the big thing that people always talk about with these types of cases, and we're very well versed in this, is we understand that the impact that it could have on someone's life when they're falsely accused. And I can tell you that we field a lot of complaints where people are alleged to have done certain crimes, and through the course of that investigation, either we are able to prove that they did not do those crimes, or we just sometimes don't have enough evidence to prove it one way or the other. But, these are the type of allegations that need a full-scale investigation. And I'm going to say it again, there's no one better versed in this country than our Special Victims Unit to make that determination.
Yeah, and I know y'all do a good job of vetting people. That's why it's an investigation. You
Absolutely.
have to look through everything.
Absolutely.
Something else, I don't know who in their right mind, and I almost have to chuckle at this question I'm going to ask you. Someone's been scamming people about the Hero Festival, which is run by law enforcement.
Absolutely.
Please.
I know. And this is the newest one. And this one certainly seems like it's only developed over the last 4 or 5 days. If people are familiar with our Facebook page, they will notice that we've had a scam alert pinned to the top of our Facebook page. And what that means is anytime you log on to the Sheriff's Office Facebook page, it's going to be the first thing you see. Mm-hmm. It's got a big blue sign that says scam alert. And the reason that is for the last several months, we've had people calling people in the community alleging to be law enforcement or posing as law enforcement, even going to the extent of giving certain and specific names of officers that actually work in our agency, saying things such as, you have outstanding warrants, you need to pay these fees. Well, how can I pay these fees? All right, go buy a gift card from Best Buy, and then you just wire that card to us. Well, these are obvious scams, and these are obvious intentions to defraud people of money. So that's why we put these scam alerts out. But lo and behold, we are still having people that are being scammed. So the important message is that at no point in time will the Sheriff's Office ever contact you if you don't show up for jury duty. We're not going to contact you if you have an outstanding warrant by phone and ask you to pay a fine or do any of that. We do not handle public business in that fashion for any reason. We never have and never will. So again, if someone hears that type of rhetoric, it's more than likely a scam. We want you to contact the Sheriff's Office and report that immediately before you send any money whatsoever.
Yeah, that blows my mind that people can actually do something that law enforcement is in charge of, but I knew you would explain it well. First Lieutenant, good to see you again.
Good to see you too, Martin. Thanks for having me.
Once again, First Lieutenant Blake Tabor, always being transparent with us at HTV, along with the Sheriff, Tim Saunier. We'll see you around the corner.
Today's social media segment is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System. Your health is our legacy. Rouse's, you're either local or you're not. Buick, the craft of modern luxury. St. Martin and Bork, know your rights.